What is going on, guys? Kind of Fool here with my Week 3 thoughts. As usual, comes out Monday. I don't cover the Sunday night games because the Monday night games because ESPN does that enough. If you haven't seen the first two videos, I explain that. Also, I want to explain something about this gameplay. At the end of it, yes, I'm losing. I did tie it up. He did score a touchdown with like 53 seconds left in the fourth. Goes for two, fails it, kicks an onside kick. In the same way I do, and it goes off my player's shin. But when I do it, other people catch it. It was such a frustrating end of the game. I did lose. At one point, Sunday I was ranked top 1,000, and I've dropped out of it. It's been a curse pretty much. But let's just go into Week 3 thoughts. I think we should start this one off with Torrey Smith. His brother dying the morning of Sunday. Yeah, morning Sunday. 1 a.m. in the morning. Up all day, having to deal with this, and he comes back at 8 to play in a Sunday night game on national TV and scores 2 touchdowns. If there's any team I would come back and play for, it would be the Ravens. There's so much emotional support behind that organization that it probably feels like a family to him in a very comfortable place. If it was a team that had, it's like, the Browns or something, not banking any Browns fans, but they don't have Ray Lewis or Ed Reed in that. He probably would have never played. I think he played because it's the Ravens. And I'm going to quote Marcel Darius. Not exact quotes, but I'm just going to paraphrase it. He says, "I lost a brother today, but I have 52 others waiting back in Buffalo." I think that's exactly how Torrey felt about the situation. And his brother would have wanted to play. His brother was a big supporter of him. Every Ravens game. I think he was at every Ravens game, and after a big game like this, to see his brother not there was probably... It looked like you could see at the press conference, he just didn't look... He was out of it. It probably hit him again. He'd probably playing the games like, thinking that he gets to see his brother, and then he gets out of the game and he doesn't see him. Like, that type of moment. Another thing that struck me during that game was in the beginning thing when they're doing the national anthem stuff. He wipes a tear off with his glove. I think that's a very awesome image. I think it should be the image of the year for the NFL. It should be one of the images, like seeing him wipe a tear off with a glove like that. And see him come play after his brother died the morning of, not before the game, but it's well before the game. But he woke up early in the morning and, like I said, had to deal with it till 8 o'clock until the game started. So that'll be one of the nicer stories of the year, is how he played in that game and how he plays the rest of the year. After I found out his brother died, I immediately said the Ravens win this game. They're not gonna allow them to lose this game, especially after what happened to Torrey. So that's pretty much it to talk about Torrey. I mean, it's a very heartwarming thing to see. I mean, you should look up to him because they were telling us stories about how he raised his family for, since he was 7. He started changing diapers at 7. They also said he's pretty much like a brother, his son to him, so it's a bigger loss for him. And some people might not realize that how much that meant to him. Yeah, you're like, oh, it's his brother, but he raised him pretty much. So I think Torrey Smith handled it very well. I think the Ravens handled it well by winning the game for him, and it was a big moment for Torrey Smith. He just played his heart out, and I feel he probably will play his heart out for the rest of the season, and he'll be a motivational push for the Ravens. And I don't know, they're a scary team to look at now after seeing what they just did against the Patriots. So we'll just move on now with the other week, the Week 3 surprise games and stuff. Saints losing again. I predicted Kansas City to win, so it doesn't surprise me that they lost. It surprised me how they lost the game. 24-6 lead, I believe, and maybe 23-6, and they just they fall apart. They couldn't get a first down. They couldn't anything. An elite offense against a defense that's banged up and been one of the worst in the league. And they blow a lead. That the team is bad. I don't want to count them out of the race yet because Joe Vitt comes back, and they're used to Joe Vitt because he's been there longer and he coached in the preseason, which I think it was a bad idea because they're going to miss him for 6 weeks. I think they should have just named an interim and set him in there for, just for the team. I think for the team to get used to him, and I think that was a bad mistake by them. And they play the Packers this week. And the way the Saints have been playing, the Packers will just make them look so bad. It's gonna be a blowout as I look right now. But I would look at week 6 for the as the starting point because Joe Vitt comes back. I don't know how they did preseason. They didn't do as bad as they are right now. So that's the time to look at. I don't want to count them out until I see what Joe Vitt does. Does he make them way better, or they just keep the terrible defense that they are? I mean, Drew Brees doesn't look the same. That defense is terrible. It's a very bad situation. And like I said in my prediction video, whoever loses this team is probably isn't gonna be relevant for the rest of the season. To making the playoffs in the NFC, I think you need to really have 6 losses or less. I meant to say they're gonna be already at 3. If they don't win against the Packers, it's gonna get tougher. It's a bad situation, and if I'm a Saints fan, I would start panicking. But don't panic completely till you see what Joe Vitt does. Another surprising game was the Tennessee-Detroit game. What a game was that? A lot of highlight plays. But the ending play by the Lions. Matthew Stafford strings his hamstring. Wasn't really mobile, so they took him out and put Shaun Hill in. Shaun Hill scores 2 touchdowns in like the matter of 40 seconds. And then, all they do is kick a field goal. Tennessee kicked a field goal. They tie it up. They kick it to Tennessee. And they hold them so they can punt the ball and they can just score and they win the game. But what they decided to do is go on 4th and 1 in the red zone when they could have kicked a field goal. And Jim Schwartz said after the game, it was a miscommunication. I call bullcrap on that. How do you miscommunicate on a play like that? You tell him, you bring him the sidelines. Try to get him off sides. If it doesn't work, we can kick the ball. How do you miscommunicate in that type of situation? I mean, Shaun Hill is a veteran quarterback. He would understand in this situation what to do. Either you told him to do that, or he decided to just go rogue. And I'm pretty sure he didn't because he wants to win the game. The Lions are a mess. I don't think Jim Schwartz lives through that. That was a terrible excuse for a terrible play he made. I don't believe at all that he said it was a miscommunication. How do you miscommunicate at that type of time, in that type of game? You came back, you were losing by 2 touchdowns, 2 unbelievable plays, and luck was on your side, and you just decide to just go for it on 4th and 1. And then after the game, it was a miscommunication. Explain to me how you miscommunicate on that big of a play. You have timeouts. Use them. Shaun Hill is a veteran quarterback. He understands what to do in that situation. But if you're going to tell him to go for it, he's going to go for it. It's a terrible... I don't know. It's very stupid of him to make up that excuse. But the big surprising game... Just leaving that short stuff alone. I don't even want to talk about that. The big surprising game is Minnesota beating San Francisco. San Francisco finally taking off that high horse. And who leads that division? The Cardinals. The Bills play the NFC West this season. It's going to be scary. We play the Patriots, the 49ers, then the Cardinals. and the Cardinals play the Dolphins and the Rams. There's a big possibility they will go 5-0. They're in the same exact situation we were in a couple years ago with Trent Edwards. We were 5-0. Adrian Wilson lays a hit down on Trent Edwards and ends Trent Edwards' career pretty much. Trent Edwards was never the same after that. It's going to be a nice game to see. It's going to be an underlying story because what happened if Cobb gets injured? What if a Skeleton gets injured? Does that change their season like it did to us? It's a very, very, I don't know. The first 3 weeks of the season have been outstanding. 3 OT games this week and a lot of close games. Oakland coming back in and win. Jacksonville coming back to win. The Jets coming back to win. KC coming back to win. Cincy and Washington in a shootout. Denver making a little bit of a comeback. Ravens making a comeback. The only game that was out of hand is Arizona, Atlanta, and the Chicago game. It was a very great week. It keeps one-upping. And this season is very, very awesome. So, it's, I don't know how to explain it. Well, there was something else. Alright. I'm going to spend this last minute or two with the commentary. Kind of a little rant. I'm going to do a video about this tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. NFL needs to bring back the original referees. This is ridiculous. Darius Hayward-Bay gets hit in the head, knocked out cold. No penalty thrown. Matt Schaub is already pretty much down. Joe Mays comes up helmet to helmet. No call. There were so many missed calls in the Ravens game. There were so many miscommunications. I don't want to put the entire blame on these replacement refs. This is the NFL's fault. Replacement refs are getting what they want to get paid, alright? They're out there, they're getting paid, they're trying to do the best job they can. They're not the most experienced ones. They have experience, but not the NFL level. A lot of them from college, Division II, different rules. There's different rules in them. So, this is completely an NFL fault. And they're always about player safety. They need to bring the refs back now. After seeing how Darius Hayward-Bay got hit, they need to just cave in and get these refs back. It's to the point where somebody's going to get seriously injured. The Patriots game and Patriots-Ravens game, there were so many skirmishes. People could have got injured. It's getting out of hand. The refs are losing control. The NFL needs to realize that these refs aren't getting it done. And people are going to blame the refs for making bad calls, but you need to blame the NFL for not realizing what is going on. There's being missed calls. There's being players getting seriously injured or potential serious injuries. And it could be avoided. These defensive players are looking at these refs knowing, oh, they might not know about this call, so I'm going to get away with it. These other refs will call penalties on anything. Even if it's not helmet to helmet, they'll still call it. If the NFL is trying to keep the integrity and safety of this game, they need the refs back now. They need to stop playing games, and they need to get them back now. So I want to thank you guys for watching. A little bit of rant, and you'll see it Tuesday, tomorrow. I'm going to do a full-on rant about it and why they need to be back. So all the links are below. I hope you guys enjoyed this week 3 look at it. I know it was a little bit moody today, so not moody, low tone, I guess. Yeah, just pause there for a second. It's just rambling. So I thank you guys for watching. Sorry, it was kind of a little low voice this game. What do you want to call it? It's kind of feeling sick. So yeah, I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. I don't know why I haven't pressed stop yet.